Hello, everyone. This is Warren Edwards, and this is Create Matter. And I wanted to share with you a poem that I wrote, and it's called Self Reflection. I tried swallowing my pride. It nearly choked me to death. I spat it up and looked at it. Then it looked at me, with all its arms flailing, rapidly changing color, possessing what is admired. Always on display, yet never satisfied. Liable, carrying the burden of truth, oblivious to any faux pas or misstep. My guilt is where my pride rests, existing on providing proof and an unknown value, yet the desire to be valued. At what price? Just to be reminded of the power of nothing. Thank you. Hello, art enthusiasts. This is Warren Edwards, and we have a special guest here, Robert Lee Sims III.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, brother. So, now take us through your creative journey and your process, and what brought you here to Create Matter.
I'm a photographer, a filmmaker, and I believe visual representation is a tool that can be used to heal.
Okay.
What brought me here today at Create Matter is to build with you, someone who I feel has a gift of interpreting art
Thank you.
and speaking to the common man.
Okay. So, tell us about your exploration of Africa.
Can I show you?
Sure. That'd be great.
I mean,
That's what we're here for.
I mean, this is just a prototype, but this is the book that I created. And the exploration began as a need to feel valued. In this world, we all have to do something to make a living. I chose to be an artist. I chose to create. I chose to be a photographer and take pictures of events, anything that has some type of meaning. Now, once you get into that world, it's kind of saturated. Everybody could be a photographer. So how do I distinguish myself as a photographer that should be hired to capture the biggest events?
Okay.
I might have to do something that no one else has done before. I might have to go where others don't go and bring back something no one else has seen.
So that brings me, why did you select this region and these people?
Sometimes the spirit calls you, right? Like, seriously, the spirit chose me to go. Obviously, Africa is a place we all want to go because we've been told we're African people. You know, and all my life, if you tell me I'm from Africa, I have to go there and figure out for myself where I'm from. So this is my third time traveling to the continent of Africa, first going to Senegal, second going to Morocco, and now last Ghana. So for me, it's continuing to build my portfolio. So I traveled to Ghana not only to explore, but to enjoy the island, to identify myself, to see something I've never seen before, and to discover festivals. This is where I believe festivals allow us to understand culture. Festivals allow us to see neighborhoods and communities. Festivals allow you to really know where you are. So I went to a festival in Ghana that happens every 2 years where all the regions of Ghana come together to put on their culture.
Okay.
It's the National Arts and Culture Festival. And it travels. So this year it was in Cape Coast.
Okay.
And this is December of 2022. So I traveled there. Funny thing is, as a photographer, you're needed. It's a tool. So there was a group of people who once lived in America, who now live in Africa, needed help putting together the diasporian night of the festival.
Okay.
So I documented them putting the tents together, going to meetings, and just really understanding how the festival's put together, going to the radio station and getting, publicity to make sure the word is out that the festival is happening.
Okay.
And telling their story about why they left New York City and came to Ghana to be there. Because really it's a learning history for me. Ghana is the birthplace of Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
And Kwame Nkrumah and everything. So our ancestors have been going to Ghana before Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Kwame Nkrumah used to bring these people over. Pan-Africanism, And I think I'm just carrying on the tradition.
And I'm glad you are, brother. Thank you so much. So take us through your pictorials.
Okay, so specifically, now that we have the idea that, you know, culture is being displayed through festivals, I stumbled upon an indigenous tribe that wants to turn their culture into a festival. So while I met them at Cape Coast, the spirit just guided me to like, yo, something is special about.
And the name of the peoples in the festival?
Okay, so the name of this specific tribe is called Frafra, and they're based in Bulga Tanga, which is the upper east region of Ghana. And the name of their festival in their area is called Nangre Die Beke,
Okay.
and it's December 22.
Okay.
So I traveled.
What does that mean?
You know, don't let me get the lion. Don't let me get the lion, B. I can't even tell you. But I know. Can I read this to you?
Sure, sure.
Preparation to assemble warrior dance for a hero's farewell at Nongre Die Berke on 27th December 22. I may even be pronouncing it wrong because remember, their dialect, their tongue, they could roll their R's and all types of things we can't even do as Americans.
But it's all about the emotion.
Yes, that's
from
true.
the art, okay?
You're right.
So let's give it to him.
Let's give it to him. Clad in the hide of a buffalo, the warrior son of Tianda Anange rises with a commanding presence as his diviner leads by Tiande. See, these names are just hard because it's in their language.
Let's flow through it.
You know, his magna helmet crafted from sturdy elephant's grass and buffalo horn sits atop his head.
So let's show them what that's all about. You know, let's get a little go closer to it. Let's give it to them.
And I can put this picture in post.
Oh, okay.
While they're editing, they'll see that picture. Post.
All right, sounds
You
good
know?
to me.
You'll see the picture in post.
Okay.
And basically, they wrote this words themselves. This paragraph is what they are saying this picture represents.
Okay.
And they're saying it represents spiritual energy radiates from the two divine beings, the two traditional maracas with foul feathers adorning his body. Their mystical patterns bless him with divine direction and protection. He channels their spiritual power with each stomp, spin, and lunge. So and also I'll put some video of what they do. It's called the war dance, where they, move in this spiritual divinity. The dance intensifies as he loses himself in a trance. His eyes reflect the unwavering focus of his ancestors as centuries of traditions course through his veins with a mighty bellow. He raises his bow, the small bow of Banga, skyward, and his people's vigor and mystic are honored through the majesty of his dance. So this is some deep stuff, that they believe.
So I wanted to ask you, witnessing this, how did you feel?
I felt like I was finding my people. I felt like I was finding indigenous practices that had been stolen from us. Because you got to remember, Africa is older than America. There's worlds here that is older than European. Indigenous practices are older than European ideologies.
Right.
But they've stolen that from us and told us to live our lives as European, modern technology. So when I seen the way these people dance, but it also seemed very familiar because we held on to some things through blood, just through DNA. So we have rhythm all over the world where we go. So as I was seeing them dance, I also saw how we have interpreted taking that and now we dance and move our bodies. So it felt like a coming home. I also, as someone who likes to look through the lens of the camera, I was like, this shit just looks dope, bro. I'm like, like no one else got this.
Right,
This
okay, I
is
got
dope.
You. Oh, so you were telling me about the council and how they had to vote to let you see if you can take these photos and what you want to do.
Well, I mean, that's part of like having a hierarchy and having a tradition. Mm-hmm. They know that not everybody is going to represent them the proper way because they've been fooled before.
Okay.
How many times have we seen images of babies with flies in their mouth? When in Africa it's flies. When in hot terrain it's flies. It's natural. You go upstate New York, it's flies. Right? So if you capture something and say, oh, these poor babies, and put this image out there, after a while, these people are going to say, hey, they only want us to look like that.
Okay.
So they have to vote, and they had to seek counsel from the elders. Also, too, this tribe has never really showcased their art or their culture to the world. This is what they told me. They told me that they have never allowed this to be spread through the world.
Okay.
So it's a matter of like, am I worthy?
Okay. So let's spread their message to the world.
Let's spread their message to the world,
Okay.
and we'll continue to spread their message to the world.
Definitely. So, and coming back to America, how has your essence changed from going through your experience and seeing all you have seen? What did you come back with?
Well, I didn't come right back to America.
Okay.
I went to Trinidad and Tobago, where my mother is from,
Okay.
where I built up the confidence to even go to Africa the way I did, Ghana the way I did. It was through living in Trinidad and living in the bush and going through a rites of passage, building a house, living with the farmers, farming, bathing by the river, cooking on 3 stone in a pot, living that life that gave me the confidence and tested me and gave me the vision to be like, you know, this is what you must do in order to prove yourself worthy of being this person you think you are. You know, I think I'm a king. I think I'm a pharaoh. Now it's time to prove it, right?
So we do that by saying, I am.
I am. Not just, see, that's only one. I mean, this is all information that's being given to us. It's not only I am, it's I know, I see, I understand, I love.
Okay.
You know?
So where we starting?
Each one is this, you use the same thing. I am a king. I see myself as a king. I know the values that a king has. I believe, you know, you use the same thing. Whatever you think you are, you have to not only know it, you have to see, you have to think, you have to believe, you have to, there's different, because these are chakras, right? They're just things that are inside you that you know and you express spiritually.
Okay, so when you went over to Africa and you were with these people, did you feel your chakras opening?
You know, I don't think it goes like that, because when I was in Africa, I was doing everything I was doing here in America. Smoking weed, drinking, you know, beer, Guinness. I love Guinness whenever I'm out the country. Drinking, eating food, the rice, the wache, yasapule, which is in Senegal, but wache, which is Ghana, contumre. What else they have? Jollof. Oh my God. Lots of jollof.
Well, I heard about the jollof, right? They had a battle off.
There's always going to be a battle between Ghana, Senegal, and Nigeria. They all
I don't
battle.
know, G. Yo, you left out Sierra Leone, G.
You know, we you know, us over here in America, we leave out a lot because we only know what has been told to us.
Right.
Like when I go over to Africa sometimes, they think that we don't know Africa. But I tell them the first Africa we ever knew was Egypt.
Right.
The second Africa we knew was probably South Africa, Mandela. New York was heavy in the Mandela scene, right? So we know Africa. Maybe we don't know West Africa. Maybe we don't know East Africa. A lot of Rastafarians know Haile Selassie, East Africa, Ethiopia.
Americans on a whole don't know geography.
That's what they tell us. But we know influential people. We know Marcus Garvey been telling us Africa for the Africans. We know, so we know of it, but we don't know specifics. This is also a thing I want to tell people. 400 years ago, there was no Africa. These Africans don't consider themselves Africans, but they consider themselves Ewe, Ga, Ashanti, Yoruba. They know what tribe they are. Because you know why? These Europeans created these social constructs of what Africa is. 400 years ago, there was no Ghana. There was no Nigeria. It was what tribe you are.
So was it called the Gold Coast at one point?
It was. And this is another thing. From the people who live on the outside, they'll call it anything. Because they found gold. Because they found gold along the coast, the whole coast is now Gold Coast.
Right.
But that is somebody from the outside saying what it is. The people who were there called it something different.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So take us through your art journey.
How would you like me to what specifically?
I want to go through the pages and go through the different pictures that you have.
Well, this specific book is specifically of the indigenous tribe up in Bolgatanga. Now, I have also, and these are This is the journey. Thank you for that. This is the journey of not only going, printing pictures. I mean, going and taking pictures, but now coming back to America, printing the pictures and trying to amplify it and highlight it
Okay.
and do things that people at the Guggenheim do. Guggenheim faithful. So I printed this first picture, which is the picture on the book. Printed it 36 by 50.
Okay.
You know, and all this they will see. And so I'm also trying. This is how I develop, you know, clout. This is how I develop my brand. This is how people will say he's worthy to be taking photos for the Met at the Met Opera, or let's get him to document this festival because he's gonna capture the essence of it.
Okay.
Because these photos tell a story. Remember, a photo is supposed to say 1,000 words. And it's supposed to ask 1,000 questions. If you look at my photo and you don't ask any questions, did I really take a good photo?
Interesting.
So the first couple, and as a photographer, you want to create a portfolio that will speak to volume, like not just portraits, landscape, candid photos, you know, agriculture photos. I wanted to show that, yo, I'm talented vastly.
I want to take a look at this photo.
Yeah, this is the photo you was talking about, the council, how they had to vote. Look at that. Look at the faces of those people. Do they look like all of them wanted to vote for me to take the photo?
Absolutely not.
So that speaks. And this is a candid photo because I don't even think all of them thought I was taking the photo. I think I caught them off guard. I don't know. Some of them looking directly at me. And this is for also in the age of technology, because I could be taking a video or I could be taking a photo. The camera could just be recording, and they could just be looking at me. So, you know. This also, too, is the council, the chief. And this was the person who connected it all. I met him at the Cape Coast Festival.
Okay.
And he allowed me to, you know, introduce me to everybody. The baobab trees.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful tree.
Baobab trees. Just showing everything I can. The children.
Well, can we go back to the tree? Is there any specific history that you learned about these trees?
No, because I got a crash course.
Okay.
Like, send me there for 3 years and they'll tell me every little thing. Now, what I did learn was they said everything is spiritual. Like, they didn't need to create an altar because the altar is the land. This is what they told me. You know what I'm saying? They didn't need to look at things and be like, this is something, because it's so vast, it's so big, it is. So also this tree is the baobab tree, and you know, it's their local tree. It's many of them. They didn't give me the history of everything. They gave me like a crash course because also I was only there for a few days.
Maybe we could research the history and then put it in the captions underneath while we're talking about it.
We will. We could do that. But or maybe we tell the people, you go do the history, because you know, honestly, I'm not there for history of trees, even though it's part of it. It's part of it. I'm there for...
We'll see what we'll do.
We'll see what happens. You want to know about the tree? Everyone knows about the tree.
Okay, wow. Okay.
The children's faces. This is what I wanted to bring back.
Okay.
Children, you looking like they're not homeless, but looking happy.
Okay.
You know, in front of their mud hut, which they're happy to have, which also has electricity.
Okay.
Right?
Definitely.
So this is the combination of indigenous practices with modern technology. We don't have to lose our essence of who we are just to be modern.
Okay.
You know, that's what I'm trying to bring back. Again, the elders. You know, so the book has all this already. But as I keep going, this is Cape Coast. You know, the port. These are more elders that I met along my travel at a funeral who allowed me to document them. Children looking happy, babies smiling, happy faces. If you were to look at these pictures, you would say, I might have to go there. It looks like people having fun. This looks like a kid in a school. Like, they liked how one lady told me she liked how I shot him and just had him standing like he was in the school. You know, like this is a class picture for a yearbook. And that's what we can do. You know, we could bring what we have here in America over there creatively. Portraits that highlight them. This is the festival. This is a candid shot of the festival. You can see someone throwing money, which is traditional. Now we know why we like to throw money at strippers. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing it long time. I'm not lying.
I haven't been to a strip club.
The Chiefs, you know. Now you know why we have what we do. Like, yo, everybody has someone they have to follow.
Okay.
Because even so, a lot of people is like, why his foot on his neck, right?
Right.
Why you can't look at it? Well, his brother is giving him a lift up.
Right. He's supporting it.
Exactly. Automatically, our minds always think negative because of the colonization that has happened to us.
Okay.
We never look at anything positive as if I printed it, 36 by 50. I have it. I'm trying to sell it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe the Guggenheim can host it.
So what's your price range for that?
See, honestly, that's another thing. I'm new to this,
Okay.
so I price it by spirit and heart.
Okay.
You know,
So what does your spirit and heart say it's worth?
my spirit and heart told me that picture framed the way it is, $10,000.
Okay.
But my spirit and heart also told me if someone wanted to buy this picture and own the print, so that way they could be the ones to, that's $1 million for me to give back to Bolgatanga,
Okay.
or 500,000. This is the way I'm thinking, because obviously I have to give something back to the people. They allowed me to take all these pictures.
One thing, could you please just tell the people where you can be reached?
If you see me in public, holla at me. I'm in New York City. If you want to reach me on a digital world, find me on ARobLeeVisual. ROBLEEVISUAL. That's how you could reach me.
Okay. Definitely.
This picture, also as an explorer, we're bringing back things that we never had before. This is important. And I'll read it. Chief of Anamabu between 1860 and 1879, a member of the Fanti Confederacy which existed between 1868 and 1873 to plan a policy of self-determination from European influence.
Okay.
And it just made me think, if we needed a policy from European influence back then, don't you think we need one now? Or how come, you know, it just makes you think, like, our ancestors knew what they knew. And then this picture, it shows, like, I showed this to Caribbean people and they're like, wow, that looks like this, that looks like this. Africa is the birthplace of civilization. We, like, every place is it's gonna look like everything.
Right.
Because everything came from there, in my mind, my ideology. More rural areas to show people the vast greenery.
Yeah, that lush.
That lush.
Yeah, that
Some places are lush more than ever. You know, much lush more than others. So yeah, like I was saying, this is me just traveling and exploring and bringing back pictures. But the one picture I do want to end on is this picture I saw at Fort William's Castle of the slave routes, which showed me how one of the stories of how our people were brought here.
Okay.
And it would also show that we didn't come from the coast or the exterior. We came from the interior and were brought to the coast. And in my journey of visiting this indigenous tribe, I did the reverse journey. I came from the coast and went into the interior.
Okay.
So it shows to my exploration. It shows to, you know, the confidence I have in myself and the abilities I want to showcase to the world that, yo, we're artists and we do this.
Well, I want to thank you, Robert Lee Sims III, for letting us join you and embark upon your journey through art and creativity. So, listen, this has been Create Matter. So go out there in the world and create what matters.